Hello, this is part 2 of the Ochin 2, this board that holds a compute module 4 which can be used for OpenHD amongst other things. This video is all about actually flying this, but I had a bit of missteps along the way, so if you want to watch on and watch me fail several times before I get there, carry on. If you want to skip ahead to the actual flying part, go to this timestamp here. Anyway, on with the video. Okay, OpenHD Wing with the original Ochin board ready to go. Ground recording there, you won't be able to see. Ochin 2 there, not in the best position because it's down here, but HDMI plugged in the goggles, that's fine. RC's fine, basically ready to try and take off and see what happens. Let's try and see. Sadly, no matter how much I've poked and prodded with the cables and reseated them, it's just not happening. The receiver is connected there, but the ESC thinks it hasn't got any sort of signal coming from here, so something weird is going on. We haven't got any connection to the servos, that's not working. The picture through here is absolutely stunning. The HT0 goggles with HDMI in look absolutely gorgeous. The Ochin 2 is working perfectly. That's so frustrating. I mean, look at the day. It's a little bit blowy, but it's just perfect. And we haven't got another day for a week, and I'm going to have to go home and try and figure out what happened. I don't have a clue what has happened. This is working. This is sending video okay, but it's getting no telemetry from this. And that's because this flight controller is just, I don't know what's happened to it. It seems to have become completely like, I don't know anything. And it was working fine. It was working fine here. I had it set up. I was waiting for the satellites to come in. That was fine. I armed it just to check it would go into the right mode, armed it off again, and then I tried to flick the servos to check it out, and nothing was happening. And since that time we've had this, so massive pain. What a waste of my time, and a waste of such a good day as well. So frustrating, but yeah, it's what you get. We'll come back and we'll try again, see what happens. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and connected up the flight controller of the computer, and basically it's completely lost everything. It's got no mixer set up, it's got no output set up. The ports, I don't know if this is default, but they seem to have something there. Why has it got soft serial set up? That's weird. Yeah, the configuration is like been completely lost. We got no modes at all. The receiver's on S-bus. This explains a lot about why stuff wasn't working. I think the problem is as well that I've probably got rid of the old backup configuration I had when I transferred it, which could be nasty, but we'll see what we can find. Okay, good news. I had a diff file, and that means that I could restore that, and it looks pretty good. All coming up, and we've got telemetry back again, and if we change modes, you can see it happening. So that's all working. Quite why it lost the settings in the first place, so that is a mystery. I'll have to do some searching, see if anybody else has suffered this. I've since heard, and this is mainly from my friend Stephen, hi Stephen, that one of the things that iNav does if there's any config changes and it has to save is it does this checksum check, and if it fails to checksum, then it says, oh, this config is null and void, and basically resets it. And that seems like that's what happened. Basically the entire board was reset, it was devoid of any config. Quite what the board was saving at the time and having to do that checksum for, I don't know. But that's the best sort of theory you've got at the moment about what happened. It just happened that it coincided with me unplugging and replugging because I needed to reboot it. Did I interrupt something by unplugging, plugging it? I don't know, but that's what happened. Weird situation. Well, welcome once again to the field, where we have our wing and it's working at the moment. Got all the OpenHD stuff here on the Ochin board. Got my tablet where I can get myself a ground recording. Very hard to see, especially with polarizing lenses. but no, we've not quite got sats yet. We've only got 5 sats. But let's start screen recording here. Let's check our picture here. I have a feeling it needs to kind of initialize the HDMI thing when you do this. So I've just reset it. See if we get something this time. Now it's telling me that HDMI is disconnected. Reboot goggles. Okay, quick note to self is when you're setting this up, turn goggles on first, because that way the ground unit will be able to. This has lost its gubbins. I'm gonna have to put. I think the tethering mode cuts off when I replug it. Oh, that'd be why. Okay, USB tethering, currently connected. Roll pitch not centered. Why is roll pitch not centered? Oh, I've lost the HDMI. Come on. Ah, the HDMI is showing disconnected. That is another dodgy connection, unfortunately. No, it was back. It's saying roll pitch not centered. But it is. Oh no, it says it went arm because roll and pitch is not centered. I mean, it's not centered. Bloody is. I've got no Wi-Fi. Well, obviously no Wi-Fi. I've got no phone signal out here to try and sort this out. Jesus Christ. This is causing a major pain. Right. Once again, thwarted. Thwarted by the fact that the HDMI into the goggles seems to be going wrong, and so we're getting a mix of a green screen, no screen at all, and the real screen. And the fact that it's saying roll pitch not centered, unable to arm, which is kind of a pain. I guess that's another thing I should have checked. Okay, let's stop the screen recording because we ain't doing anything today once again. Okay, at this point I'd already fixed it, but what I found when I got home, in fact I found it when I was later flying, is this had become a little bit loose. So although it's on a spring, here to here was loose. So when the radio was sitting like that, this stick would fall down very slightly, and thus it wasn't centered. And that's what iNav was throwing a wobbly about. I was expecting some like, oh, this is some weird iNav problem. It was just literally the physical problem with the radio. So I got the Allen key out and tightened one of these. I forget which one it is. And now it's tight again. And all is okay. Yeah, that was it. So we've got a little bit of GPS. And our air unit keeps disconnecting and reconnecting because our loss is very high inside here. However, having tightened this up, if I now say arm, it goes ahead into takeoff mode. And we're ready to go, which is really annoying that this had somehow just become loose. Really weird. Double check it goes into takeoff mode. On. Now it's working. Well, hello again. From your point of view, it's probably been 5 minutes of watching me fail. From my point of view, it's been over a month between getting times when I can fly and when I've got the stuff sorted out. Made a couple of changes from last time. We've got a HDMI cable without the adapter at this end, and instead we've got the adapter at the CM4 end of things. I figure that's better because that's the one that's going to be moving. Checked it in the house and that seems okay. The wing is ready to go. Everything's ready just to power up. So yeah, let's give it another go. Fingers crossed we'll actually get to it, at least attempt to launch it this time. Right. Had a bit of a procrastinated wait because I wasn't getting any sats. I rebooted it and now I've got 6. 6 is enough to arm it. A little bit worried that we're going to have minimal sats or they're going to disappear because I have to rely on using RTH after I launch it to come back and get the goggles on. But you know, we're gonna try it and see what happens. Right, let's do this. So there's goggles, screen's recording. Let's launch this thing. There's RTH there. Okay. Okay, if hit RTH, at the moment it seems to be flying away. But it's, I didn't trust it there, it was just going away. I'll bring it around manually. Stabilise seems to be looking alright there, at least that's something. Okay, it's over my head. Put it there. Then I'm looking RTH. Right. Let's get the goggles. Okay, we have picture. That's more like it. Right, bring it out of RTH. And it's the stabiliser seems to be working actually nicely this time. Getting the odd little flash. Oh, that's not good. Overhead. Completely sort of lost picture. It all went a bit dodgy for a moment there. Going into manual. A bit of climb. Oh, got some picture breakup again. Going into RTH. Seems all right again now. Oh, we're up to 8 sats finally. The artificial horizon is not working. I don't know, it is. It's all right. It hasn't gone out. Where is... I think it's that one. Okay, seems to be a bit better. We have got, I'm just looking at battery, I haven't looked at anything yet. Telemetry seems to be alright, except for the speed. We're not getting any speed through for some reason. I don't know why. This downwind section's pretty quick. This is not too bad now. But we had some weird pauses initially, which is a bit frightening, quite frankly. It's looking all right now. Yeah, pitch is good. Hardly any breakup, apart from that first bit, which was scary. Fortunately, RTH seems to be working nicely. The new version of iNav seems to be behaving itself quite well at the moment. Let's see if I can't do a little bit of a pass. Frame rate is a bit, it's all right. It's just a little bit jerky, I find. So I'm going to do a little bit of a pass next to me. Whoa, that is some turbulent air going on there. Probably looks quite smooth in the exterior camera, but we are having a bit of a bounce.
Okay, so I know you're all probably enthralled by this man sitting on the floor, mumbling away while he flies, but the whole flight is 11.5 minutes, so I won't make you suffer all of that. Instead, here's some thoughts I had generally about the flight. First off, aside from those 2 glitches early on where the feed seemed to pause for a second or two, the rest of the flight looked really good in terms of the quality of the feed. I've had lots of issues in the past, but I think this new version of OpenHD really has improved things. There was really no glitching or corrupted frames during the rest of the video. That said, it does feel a little jerky, and I'm not entirely sure what the frame rate is, but it's certainly not 60 frames a second. Also, the camera is a little bit fuzzy, I would say. The focus looks a bit soft, it doesn't look super sharp, and the colour is not brilliant, but this was at the time the best camera I could get for OpenHD. I was also a little confused about the things the OpenHD OSD got wrong. I mentioned that the speed wasn't working. It's true the speed ladder on the left reads 0, but there's another speed icon below that which is registering a speed. Are they getting the speed from different sources? Similarly, if you look at the bottom right of the OSD, you'll see that my distance from home is always at 0.0 metres, but the cumulative distance is going up. Again, you'd think you couldn't have one without the other. Finally, the home arrow you see in the centre of the screen towards the top is wrong, along with a little home icon that appears in the AHI. It does make its way towards home without an issue if I switch on return to home, so it's more weirdness, but what I couldn't do right now is simply follow the icon and get myself home. It would just fly me off somewhere. Hopefully all of these are just a case of following up and finding out how to rectify them. The new version of iNav I'm using seems to fix the AHI issue it had before. During the entire flight it behaved itself, and nothing had physically changed on the wing, so I think that's all iNav. Stabilise also worked well, but it flew in manual very nicely. Not that I could quite remember how to do everything in iNav. For example, I couldn't quite figure out how to get auto trim to work. Maybe it worked, but I wasn't sure. I didn't fly a huge distance on this flight, maybe 500 to 600 metres. I really wanted to build more confidence in the wing after these changes and make sure it always comes back to me in case of a problem. I was certainly more confident after the flight that things will go well. The only thing I don't really like about this wing is that it's made for 3S. It always feels like there's not quite enough power to blast away quickly and get some altitude when you need it in a hurry. Anyway, let's go back to the video for the landing. The field is pretty flooded, which is why there's no cows, and it's impossible not to absolutely soak the wing even in the best landing.
Let's lose some height. Oh, there's a tree there. Forgot about the tree. Speed up some more speed. Try not to hit me. And we're down. Let's go and inspect her. Well, there's a fair amount of moisture on her, but she's okay. So after all that, what did I think? Well, this is much more of an easier way to fly OpenHD, both on something like a plane or as a ground station. As a ground station, it's particularly good. Previously, when I was using a Pi 4, I had to put the Pi 4 in like a case and put a fan on it, and then powering the Pi 4 was slightly weird because it needed 5 volts at quite a high ampage. So I used to take a charger, which I then plug a LiPo into, use it as desktop power supply, and then make up a cable to supply the Pi, which is quite a lot more to take. What I like about this is you can just attach an XT60 to it and put in lots of different voltages and it will just work, and you've got all your various USB connections, you've got your UR if you're passing telemetry to it, and importantly the micro USB. Just speaking of USB, the only pain with micro USB is that they don't seem to make cables that go directly to the goggles. Most goggles have a mini HDMI connector as opposed to the full-size HDMI you'd find on like a TV and stuff. And lots of places do like micro to mini or micro to full-size adapters, but they don't do like a big cable which is micro to mini at 2 meters so you can plug it in. So yeah, I found the best way to do it, as you saw me having problems because of like an adapter here which will wiggle, is I took a micro to full size adapter, which is about this big, it's just a little cable, and you can get a full size to mini, a 2 meter cable, and that was okay. Just a bit of a pain otherwise. So OpenHD is still an option out there. I know things like OpenIPC is getting a lot of attention lately with more commercial vendors actually making things, but there is another option if you feel that way inclined. It used to be that it was all about the Raspberry Pi. It doesn't necessarily need a Raspberry Pi now. It does all sorts of different platforms that you can run on. The main thing is in this world is to have choices, and if you're going to go OpenHD, then the Ochin 2 board is a great option, especially for a ground station. I found that just so much more convenient. Still a slight pain that you have to make up your own USB cables in a special way. Not quite as convenient as just plugging in, but that's just one of the things. Anyway, I hope that review's been helpful. You can pick these up from Seed. There'll be a link down below, and I will catch you next video. Bye for now. Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.